this is Noah speaking. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 experiences that I learned a lot from during this course. My first experience was before winter term during winter break when I went to the PT house for the theater group. This was my first experience with the deafblind community and with PT. When I went to the PT house, I was expecting a normal play where we would sit down and watch the play, but it was actually the opposite. The audience was very involved with the play. So I entered the PT house and I got there an hour early, like the email suggested, and I was chatting with the group that I would be watching the play with. And then everyone was expecting that we were all going to be watching the play. So then when we entered into the room where the play was happening, we all started to sit down, but then the actors came out and all made us stand up, and it was a very interactive play, and they were all using PT. This showed me that PT is very different from ASL, because before this experience, I was under the impression that they were similar, and it showed me that PT was basically a whole new language that I needed to learn. And then my next experience was my first SSP experience, which started out not great. I volunteered for the tactile tour of Monmouth, and I had no experience guiding before. So I show up at the PT house around 9, and I matched with a deafblind man from Europe. And he asked me if I'm ready, and I say, sure. So then we leave the PT house, and immediately I run him into a flower pot. I will never forget that, and I felt awful. He told me not to worry and that I was perfectly fine, and then we continued with our day. We ended up in Java Crew, and we were sitting down, and he asked me if this was my first time SSPing, and I told him yes. And then he proceeded to tell me some information about PT and some guiding tips, and this was all within a very short amount of time, so I didn't really have time to process all the information. So I felt a little overwhelmed after Java Crew, and I think the other more experienced SSPs could see that I was struggling, because once we got to the gym, me and my match were switched, and I was okay with this because it gave me time to process everything that he told me in Java Crew. And then midday, we ended up at Yeasty Beastie for lunch. I took this time to rest and think about everything that my first match told me. And then after lunch, I was matched with a new deafblind person, and things felt a lot smoother. And I think this was because I had time to process all the information that I was given, and that I had time to breathe. And then towards the end of the day, I was rematched with my first deafblind match, and things felt a lot smoother, a lot more comfortable, and he even told me that I was a lot more comfortable with guiding. This first experience might have started off not great, but it really taught me a lot about guiding, and it made my second SSP experience much better. I didn't run anyone into a flower pot. And then my next learning experience was the deafblind conference up in Seattle. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed driving up there and seeing the conference. I learned a lot about the community and about the language itself. During the meeting, I sat next to my friend Grace, and we were trying to figure out how the system of interpreters were working, because it was a very unique system. And we were using PT to discuss and figure out which interpreter was doing what job. And when it was my turn to talk, she would use back channeling to inform me that she was understanding me. And I just felt really connected with the language because I knew that both parties were understanding. And then the next experience was the simulation, where it was the earthquake and then the robbery. It was a lot of fun. My simulation that I was acting deafblind in was the earthquake, and it wrecked my house. And then we switched, and I guided Maria into her house, and it was a robbery. Here's a picture. It's a very cute picture. It's of us laughing. CM made us go under like 5 different tables, and Maria was very confused on why we kept on going under tables. It was a lot of fun. We went under one table, and then I told her we went to her kitchen, and I told her that there was food just displayed all across the table, and I made her touch one of these like jelly heart things, and she had no idea what it was, and she made like a really disgusted face, and that's when we started laughing. And then our first experience with guiding, I was matched with Anna, and we went to the library. I was acting as deafblind, and I was to ask for a book, and the front desk lady didn't have the book, so Anna and I just explored the library, and we went up to the 3rd floor, and there was a bunch of abstract art, and she explained all the art to me in PT, and it was very clear and understanding, and it was a lot of fun. And then we switched, and we went to the WOOK because she had to ask the front desk a question about a blood drive, and here's a picture. And this was my first experience with light interpreting. It was a lot of fun, and I also learned a lot from that, which the light interpreting from this experience helped me with the potluck final, which was also a lot of fun. So those were my 5 learning experiences: the PT theater, the SSP experience, the meeting in Seattle, the simulations, and the potluck. Okay, thank you.